Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Just one more time, man, on that hit show, man. The story is written by a current prisoner, man. I just wanted to go ahead and emphasize, man, and reiterate and just make it crystal clear, man, just one more time, man, that not in any way, form, or fashion are we here trying to glamorize this lifestyle, man. We are completely against the gang culture, against the gang lifestyle, man. We believe it's a facade. We believe it's a disease that has brainwashed thousands and thousands of people, man. Not in any type of way, form, or fashion are we trying to promote this gangster lifestyle, man. I just want to go ahead and make that crystal clear, okay? For those of you who haven't already subscribed, man, please hit that subscribe button. If listening to prison interviews is your thing, man, please hit that like button on your way out. This is a new prison interview. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for taking the time out every day and watching today's show.
So what are they calling?
So what do they call you?
My name's Worm. They call me Worm.
What are you incarcerated for, and how long is your sentence?
I'm incarcerated for second-degree homicide.
This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
Armed robbery, carjacking, kidnapping, discharging a firearm at a habited dwelling, and ex-felon in possession of a firearm. And I've been down 23 years straight on a life term. On a double life plus 85 years sentence. Huh? I'm from Ventura County, from Ojai. Ojai, California.
Do you or did you belong to any type of gangs, groups, organizations?
In custody or out on the street?
Period.
Yeah, I was a member of the Nazi lowrider prison gang.
Yes, sir.
Okay, all right. First of all, I'm coming at you guys, hopefully, so you do not follow in my footsteps. Because when you get life in prison, you basically ain't got no life. You know, you got no freedom, you got no life. And hopefully somebody will, learn from my mistake, and I'll share a story with you about what not to do when you have 17 days to parole. But
go ahead and continue with your story, sir.
All right. So first, before I get started, if there are any females out there who would like to be pen pals with somebody who has been incarcerated for 23 years, they can contact me at Daniel Bonilla. My CDC number is P48374. I'm in A Facility 1 Block, Cell 208, and my P.O. Box is 409020, Ione, California. My zip code is 95640, and that's how you can directly contact me. I am expected to go to board in 2024, and if there's anybody out there who would be interested in assisting me with legal fees, you could also do so at that same address, financially or with the help of an attorney. Now, and that's about it on that. So if you want, I can start this little story back when I was a parole violator. Do you want me to continue on that?
Yes, sir. Worm, go ahead and do your thing, my friend.
All right. So here's a story back in 1998. I touched down at High Desert State Prison, where I had about a year to do on a parole violation. At that time, IGI, which is the gang unit in the prison system, were in the process of going around and picking up all the Nazi lowrider prison gang members and placing them in the hole to validate them. In other words, they were snatching us up as soon as they learned of our identity and who we were and what cells we were in. There were about 20 of us on the yard to be put in the hole and validated, which I was hoping to be released on my violation before they made it my way to my block. There were 7 of us in my block. All my brothers were spread out all over the upper and lower yard, and we kept in touch and informed each other anytime a brother got snatched up by the gang unit and taken to the hole, and we all knew he was going to the hole to be validated and slammed down in a shoe indefinitely. So when I get all the way down to 17 days to my release date, I get a kite from the upper yard telling me now my ex-brother Shamu, somebody I grew up with from my neighborhood, has been giving up a lot of names to IGI to prevent going to ADSEG and being validated himself. They want him hit and removed from the car and the program, which has now landed in my lap since he is from my town, which makes me and anyone from my town responsible for the issue. There were 4 other riders left. My brother Evil got kidnapped by IGI a couple days before. I knew if I did it and got busted, not only was I going to the shoe, but a validation would follow, and I could kiss my freedom goodbye, because the DA's office would also pick up the case. I was hella pissed off by the situation. Now a decision had to be made: blast this lane and my date off, or end up in the hat myself down the road. And no exceptions. It was a removal, so a weapon was to be used. Getting put in the hat was not an option, so I decided I had to catch Shamu slipping and blast him in the day room, which might get everyone in the day room put in ADSEG. If I got away and the cops did not see who did it, and Shamu did not snitch while I had no faith, he had already been given up names to IGI. So I decided to tell the whites my plans and not to go to day room. So if I got away with it, they did not end up, if I did not get away with it, they did not end up in the hole. The problem was, I knew, okay, so I decided to tell the whites my plan and not go to the day room. So if I got away with it, they did not end up in ADSEG. Problem was, I knew at least 1 or 2 from another race, the blacks no doubt, would give up my name rather than get put in the hole for an investigation into a stabbing. And if you get put in ADSEG by ISU, they can keep you for up to 9 months with no write-up. It's a good harassment tactic by cops to get the info they're looking for. And if anyone chose to drop my name to get out the hole, they could do it as a confidential informant, which rarely works because we all are in the hole for an investigation. Everyone knows who's who. Then all of a sudden, someone gets out the hole, and not everyone else, too. It's only because that person is snitching. And if that be the case, I would have just sent the kite out to the yard to my brothers to have that fool stabbed, who were still on the yard and had not been snatched up by the squad. But if I got caught, none of that would really matter. I'd go to the hole alone because a cop could say he's seen it happen. It was a chance I had to take if I wanted to remain standing with my brothers. So I sent word to B section. I was in C section. I told my brother Red to start kicking on his cell door, and call man down, which would cause two things to happen. First, all the cops would run to B section to see who was calling man down, as that is their job. And second thing would happen is all the inmates at the day room would go over to the fire door that separates B and C section to look through the window in order to see who was yelling man down. And that's when I would hit my now ex-brother, Shamu. I told Red,
this call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded. You have 60 seconds remaining.
all right, as I was saying, the second thing that would happen is all the inmates in the day room would go over to the fire door that separates B and C section to look through the window in order to see who was yelling man down. And that's when I would make my move and hit Shamu, now my ex-brother. I told a homeboy of mine, Red, to start kicking on his cell door at exactly 7:10, which he did. And Shamu was about the third person to go over to the door window. I followed, pulling out my knife, looking at the gunner. Up top, there's a control booth about 12 or 13 feet above the ground. Well, it's above the day room where a CO was with a high-powered Mini-14 assault rifle. I could not see him, so I knew he was over by B section with his assault rifle, and just know a Mini-14 is not made to wound you. It's made to kill you or cause you to lose a limb if hit. It carries a big 223 round, same as an AR-15. It stops any attack on the spot. You do not want to get shot with a Mini-14. It's about 80% chance you'll die or lose a leg or an arm. Cops love to shoot inmates because they know they will be put on paid leave for up to 6 months. It's like a vacation. So they just come to work looking for a situation to be, so they can use the Mini-14 on you because it's like an instant vacation. So anyway, as soon as we got under the day room stairs, a little protection from gunfire, I hit Shamu about 7 or 8 times in the face and the head, which caused him to go down and cover his head. Everyone else, me included, backed up to the other side of C-section day room. I threw the knife in the trash can and got down by my door. The gunner saw all of our movement, came back to C-section windows and saw Shamu sitting up bleeding from his face and head, and hit the alarm and put out a code 1 battery on an inmate with a weapon. Within about 60 seconds, 25 or 30 cops ran in, maybe a little longer, about 2 minutes, and started zip tying all of us. Shamu was removed by stretcher, and 6 others, me included, were taken to holding cages at the program office. The investigation started at that time. To my surprise, no one snitched. About 2 hours around 9 p.m., ISU, which is Investigator Services Unit, came in and said I was going to the hole and cut everyone else loose. I had about 11 days until my release date at that time. And now I'm sitting in ad seg for an attempted murder. It got elevated to that because he got 3 puncture wounds to his neck, and the rest, 1 in his cheek, 2 in the head, and 1 in the upper arm. I knew a cop seen it. I knew no cop seen it, so I'd only be charged if Shamu agreed to take the stand against me. Being homeboys from the same town and growing up together and knowing where his mom and dad lived, I doubted that he would. I was kept 2 weeks past my release date, then released. And I knew at that time that Shamu had refused to go to court and cooperate in a case against me. 9 days after I was released, after I got out of High Desert, I got busted again on a parole violation for a dirty test. Shamu ended up dropping out and debriefed on me as one of his sponsors into the Nazi lowrider prison gang. Life for me I stayed standing for a couple more years.
This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
And that's all for now.